Hey everyone! Today I want to show you some of the advanced features of LegendKeeper that I use to get into a great creative flow. To show some of these features, I'm going to be using this project called Questing in Selenia. It's actually one of our example projects, so if you log into LegendKeeper and go to Example Projects, you can click Create Example on this card, and it will take the Questing in Selenia world and put it into your project list here. So you can then see some of the things you saw here and edit them to your heart's content. All right, so my first tip is use the Shift key to dive through nested maps. I'll show you what I mean. You can see in the sidebar here, my project home is called Questing in Selenia. And if you look on the right, you'll see that it has a map connected to it. You can click Go to Map, you can see it, here it is. I'm going to go back to the wiki for a second. Underneath Questing in Selenia is a page for the Moonlight Citadel. And again, if you look to the right, you'll see that it has a map connected to it. And I can go one level down further to this quest called Neretza's Jagged Crown. Once again, look at the right, you'll notice it has a map connected to it. So I have these 3 levels of maps set up, starting at the top in Questing in Selenia. So here's the tip. Hold the Shift key when you're looking at the atlas, and it will show you which pins are pointing at pages that also have maps. So if I hold the Shift key, all of those pins disappear because those are pointing to pages that don't have maps. And sure enough, this is the Moonlight Citadel, so I can shift click this pin and instantly dive into that map view right here. And I'll do the same thing again. I'll hold Shift. You'll see, so only this pin has a map, and that's for the quest. I'll shift click, and I'm right into that map. And if you look, here's the breadcrumbs at the top that show the relationship. Tip number 2 is more of a writing tip. You already should know about how to link pages in LegendKeeper using the @ symbol. But what this can lead to is tiny interruptions while you're actually writing. I'll show you what I mean. The party traveled to Brahms Dock. After that, they made their way to Canopy. So you'll see I use the @ symbol to bring up a menu of other pages that already exist in my world. That's fine, it's really fast and pretty convenient, and if that's your preferred way to work, more power to you. But personally, when I'm in a creative writing flow, I don't like to think about really any kind of editing or linking. But LegendKeeper's auto-link feature lets me focus on the writing first and foremost, and then quickly clean up the links afterwards. So here's the same sort of flow again, but this time using auto-link so that I can stay in the zone while I'm writing. The party traveled to Brahms Dock. Afterwards, they made their way to Canopy. So there's no links. I was just writing in the flow, typing as fast as the ideas could possibly come. And then I'll go over here to the page properties menu and click auto link. And you can see that it has detected that these are pages. And so I'll confirm, and they're all linked up. Separating the writing step from the linking and editing steps really helps me write faster and keep the flow going. All right, tip number 3. Tag your pages so that you can easily filter and find them again, slice them and dice them any way you want. Let's look at the sidebar. We'll see I have this tree open a bit. If you try to categorize and create nested trees of every single thing, it can become quite overwhelming. You can have a very deep taxonomy that's pretty hard to navigate. Tags let you organize information in a looser way that can be very convenient. So in this example, everything underneath this Moonlight Citadel sort of region of the world has been tagged, or many of the places. So you'll see I'm looking at this port. Look on the right side here, and you'll see it's been tagged as a port. And I'll go to some other ones. So Shalatal is a town. This is an interesting piece of architecture. This place could be a port or a town. And I've tagged all of these areas in this region rather than put them under categories like a towns folder and a ports folder. This keeps things nice and flat and easy to reason about at a glance. So if I go to the top here in the sidebar, here's the filter menu, and I can type in, for example, port and select it. And my sidebar has jumped down to just the 3 pages that have been tagged as ports. There are thousands of ways you could use tags to organize your information. Just wanted to show you that feature quickly. Okay, tip number 4. Use sidebar shortcuts to quickly access parts of your project that you're actively working on. I'll show you what I mean. Let's look at the sidebar, and let's pretend I'm writing this quest. I'm spending a lot of time on it. It's top of my mind this week. It's the thing that really needs work in my project right now. You can drag this symbol up into the top here to create a shortcut to it. And then when I click that, it just jumps right to that part of the wiki. So let's say I go away for a break one day, and then I come back the next day and I'm presented with all this information on the left. I can just click that shortcut and jump right into that part of my world so I can get right back to work. I find it helps me stay focused and stay in flow. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video. There are many other workflows that I want to show you in LegendKeeper, but in the interest of keeping things short, this will be the last tip for today. Let's say we're working on an NPC, Monica Shell Sister. And we have lots of ideas about what Monica might be thinking, what she might be doing. And as those ideas grow, the page grows. This section at the bottom is a secret section, which means only a project admin can read it. And as this character develops, we might have more and more ideas for her, and we might add more and more notes here. This is fine and will work, but what you can start to have is a page that's very long and harder to quickly scan, which is especially important when you're running a game. LegendKeeper has a feature for this. Every page, if you go to the properties panel up here, you can add a tab. So I'm going to add a new tab, and we're going to call it personality. There we go. So now I have a new tab for Monica, and I can take this information out of the main page and put it in there. So now the page is shorter, more scannable, and if I need to remember what her personality is like, I can jump to that tab. For the Game Master notes, tabs also work really well. So I'm going to add another tab again by just clicking the plus icon. I'm going to call this one GM Notes. I'm going to cut that, put it here. Okay. Now, instead of putting this inside a secret block, which you can access by typing /secret, no one can read this, right? Instead of doing that, you can actually right-click the tab and hide it. And this has the same effect. So now you'll see there's a crossed out eye icon, which tells us that no one can even see that tab except for project administrators. So it's great for when your secret blocks are just getting completely out of control.